Hey guys, you're probably watching this somewhere in the beginning of January, but for me, it's the January 1st. Happy New Year to everyone, and today we're filming a very interesting video about the differences between driving in the US, Canada, and Europe. And everyone knows that different countries have different driving philosophies. Sometimes it's better in one country, sometimes it's better in another. I came to California for about a month to visit my parents for a holiday season, and while I was here, I noticed some very interesting differences while I was driving, especially compared to Vancouver, where I live in British Columbia, and also Vienna, the city I visited earlier last year. So I will try to gather all of my thoughts on those differences in this video, and we'll figure out if it's better to drive in the US, Canada, or Europe. Let's dive right in. And before we start, for those who are wondering, today we are behind the wheel of the 2026 Mazda CX-70. It looks stunning in this copper metallic color. I like it a lot, but this is not the point of this video. So let's get back to our topic about the differences of driving in the US, and more specifically in California. So I think it is perfect that we are driving this car today because it's a huge SUV. And these huge SUVs are dominating the US market. And this is my first point of comparison. What are the cars that you can actually find here compared to other different regions? And as you can see right now, most of the cars are huge trucks and SUVs. And don't get me wrong, in Canada, trucks and SUVs are very popular as well. And in Europe, they're getting more popular, but not as much as here. And I think this obsession with SUVs and trucks is not a good thing. First of all, trucks and SUVs are heavier than normal sedans like this Honda Civic, meaning that in every accident, there's more chance of people getting very severe injuries. And secondly, for a heavy vehicle, it is much harder to be efficient with its energy or its fuel. So it is going to be worse for you to save money on fuel or electricity. And thirdly, they are not as maneuverable in the city, and they're less friendly to park with. And of course, the infrastructure in the US and Canada is more suitable for cars like this, because in Europe, all city streets are tight, the parking is tight, so it is not even logical or reasonable to have lots of SUVs in Europe. And people in Europe, I think, are trying to be more conscious with their efficiency and try to be more economical with their vehicles than people in the US and Canada. And since we're driving towards a highway, I think it's a perfect time for us to discuss some of the driving experience differences I saw on the highway. First of all, you can see there's like 7 or 8 lanes one way, which is crazy if you're anywhere from Canada or Europe. And nobody is sticking to the rules of the highway, which is stick to the rightmost lane if you're not passing anyone, and only pass from the left. As you can see, those cars right there, they're driving the same speed. This Ioniq 5, this Highlander, and this Golf are driving the same speed in 3 different lanes. So everyone is constantly hogging the left lane. When I was driving on Autobahn in Austria, everyone was following the rules. They were all sticking to the right lane. They were not passing anyone. And if you are from the US or Canada, you'll probably ask me why this rule is so important. It is super convenient when you know that people are only gonna pass you on the left, because it becomes very predictable what's gonna happen on the road. In addition to this, the passing lane allows faster moving vehicles to overtake slower ones, preventing congestion and maintaining a steady traffic flow. And also, when drivers have a designated lane for passing, there's less need for frequent lane changes, making highways safer and more efficient. But as you can see right here, if you look at my left mirror, no one is following this rule. If you look ahead, no one is following this rule. Even right now, I'll try to merge to the left because my lane is changing, and this car is speeding up. It's not even letting me in. If I was in Europe or Canada, and I had my lane ending, and I had to merge to the left, any driver will let me in. They will actually play like they are in a team. But in here, it's like a free-for-all. But what I notice, especially in Europe, people are trying to look out for each other. They're trying to get safe from point A to point B, but at the same time, they kind of want you to get safe from point A to point B. And I will try to be objective here. In Canada, there's also lots of people who are only caring for themselves on the road, and in Europe as well, but the percentage of those people is much, much lower. And the worst thing about people not following the rules on the highway is that in the US, pretty much 90% of your commute is on the highway. So you are 90% of the time at huge risk of being in an accident, where the speeds are higher, and meaning that your risk to get injured or to be dead is much higher as well. And the reason why the majority of people living in the US are traveling by car to their destinations and travel most of the time on the highway is due to the infrastructure. And that's what we're going to discuss now. If you are in the US or Canada and you live in a big city, you know there's always a problem with lots of traffic. Even though you occasionally see these kind of buses here in Orange County, it is still very, very undeveloped when it comes to public transport in the US. In Canada, it is pretty much the same, but there are some exceptions because I live in Vancouver, and Vancouver is famous in all of North America for their really nice public transportation system. For example, in 2024, Vancouver bus ridership now ranks third highest among the major public transit authorities in Canada and the United States. And what most people in the US or Canada don't understand is that a well-developed public transportation system goes a long way to help drivers have a better driving experience. If most people would commute by train, by metro, by buses, there's going to be less people on the road. The most important factor is that people who hate driving, and there's a ton of them in here in the US or Canada, they would not drive anymore. They would just choose public transport. And they would be happy, and people who like to drive will be happy. And I myself only realized it after traveling to Austria, Poland, and Hungary. Even though Vienna is a huge city, and there's lots of congested areas within the city, I still didn't feel that much intimidated because most people are walking or taking public transportation. But one thing I actually like more in the US or Canada is the ability to turn right on a red light. And even though it could be dangerous in some cases, I think in most cases, it just saves you lots of time. If you follow the right turn on red rule properly, it will be very safe for you and other people around you. The only concern I have with this rule is that people are forgetting about the pedestrians who are crossing the street at the moment when you want to turn right. So I always tell all people who live in the US or Canada to be aware of those pedestrians crossing the road while you want to turn right on red. As I've told you before, there's pure chaos happening on every single highway in the US. No one knows what they're doing. No one is showing their turn signals. It's kind of crazy sometimes. That's why when I come here, I always drive defensively. So if you're a person who wants to travel to the US, and wants to rent a car, and you will have to rent a car if you want to get anywhere here anyways, please drive defensively. People here are very aggressive on the highway, on the roads, in the city. It doesn't matter. So please be defensive and don't drink and drive. That's actually a good sign, but at the same time it's kind of concerning. So as you can see, I'm driving 66 miles per hour, which is basically a speed limit, and the car on the left of me is driving less than the speed limit, meaning they're hogging the lane. And I try to follow the rules and stay in the rightmost lane. But it is so dangerous here for me to pass this car on the left because I have to basically go left twice, and there's lots of crazy drivers on these type of lanes because they're going like 80 miles per hour, all of them. So I'm kind of stuck to drive in this lane and pass people on the right. And this is not right. It should not be happening on the road where people follow the rules. This car is hogging the left lane again. It's a mess, guys. It's really a mess. I didn't even try to find time and place where people are driving poorly. It just happens on a daily, each minute basis. It's insane. And if you are from the US or from California, I hope you're not offended by my takes here, because honestly, I started this channel because I think in North America there's lots of people who want to be safe while driving, who want to be taught how to drive properly, not like this guy. And I have family who lives here, and I care about their safety too when it comes to driving, because in the US, unfortunately, you cannot live properly or get anywhere or get anything done without a car. So I try my best to educate people, to try to talk about these problems so that more people are kind of aware of it. Maybe more people gonna teach their friends, their family to be more defensive on the road, to be a better driver. So please don't think I'm a hater. I actually like this place. It's beautiful here, as you can see. There's lots of good people, nice people. And honestly, the statistics on motor vehicle deaths in the US could be much, much better in the worldwide perspective if there was a more sophisticated driving education system. In many European countries and in Canada, the path to your driving license is much, much longer. For instance, in British Columbia, you have to go through different levels to get to your full Class 5 license. So in my point of view, if the US had a much more sophisticated driver's license program or system, there would be many less deaths on the road. And overall, the driving experience would be much more satisfying. The last thing I wanted to mention is the comparison of the law enforcement in different regions. And Europe is very famous for enforcing the rules of the road very, very strictly. And one of the most interesting examples of this is Finland. Finland uses something called a progressive fine system. Instead of a flat speeding ticket, fines are based on your income. So the more you earn, the higher the fine. That means a speeding ticket actually hurts everyone equally, not just people with lower incomes. And for some people, that might sound extreme at first, but here's the result. In Helsinki, the capital of Finland, they've managed to achieve 0 traffic deaths in recent years. And I think it is deeply unfair that in Canada and the US, people receive the same fine regardless of their income. But overall, you can be very, very safe driving here in the US if you have decent defensive driving skills. And it's not just my pure opinion. It is a fact that it is safer and more satisfying to drive in Europe. Here is the statistics on the death rate per 100,000 people due to the road traffic accidents. As you can see on this map, the countries that are colored with black color are with the lowest risk for people to die on the road. And if we jump to this table, you can see that the United States are colored blue because they have 11 deaths per 100,000 people dying due to the road accidents. while, for example, in Germany, the number is pretty much 4 times lower at 2.98 people dying due to the accidents on the road. And even if you compare the US to Canada, you can see that Canada has twice as less people dying on the road as well. But I hope both in Canada and the US, we are going to build much better public transportation systems, which will make our lives much easier. And for people who are car enthusiasts like me, this will be a blessing. There's going to be less people on the road, it's going to be less congested, and there's going to be more time and space to enjoy your vehicle. So hopefully you like this video, hopefully you learned something new, and if you agree with me, please let me know in the comments below. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine, honestly. And with this, Happy New Year, guys. I have great plans for 2026. It's going to be a great year. Lots of great content is going to come out on my channel. And as always, stay safe out there, keep enjoying the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.